I just learned some jazz today, is true.
All right, guys, it's been 6 Mondays.
Man, what a long time it's been. I can't believe my life hasn't transformed yet.
1, 2, 3 man with a 4, 5 step to the door like, oh my gosh, just throw that cash in a back.
Says everybody. Isn't that funny though? Like,
Oh,
okay, so
shoot. We're an impatient folk.
6 weeks seem like a long time, but it really isn't, is it?
So Vince, let's back up a minute. I have context on your philosophy of it's only been 6 Mondays, but for those of us listening or someone might be new, back us up and tell us about
My Monday theory?
your Monday theory.
Hey, this is Kirk, producer of the Passion to Profit podcast. I did not want to have to do this, people, but every week, Liz and Vince come on here and ask you to subscribe. They ask you to write Apple reviews, and people, some of you are doing it, a lot of you aren't. For Pete's sake, can you get on there and do it? That way we don't have to hear them talk about it all the time. Thank you. Enjoy the show.
Jazz today, is true. You gon' learn, you gon' learn, you gon' learn.
Okay, so when did it hit me? It might have been a couple years ago.
A couple years ago with one of our teammates.
What? Wait, what story you about to tell?
I don't know if we tell the whole story, but he was referencing that all this time had gone by and you were like, it's been 3 Mondays.
Oh,
That's just an example.
okay, yeah. Yes, I remember that clearly. Thank you, friend. I don't have that great of memory.
That's what I'm here for. Maybe you should stay off the...
The vapes? Yes, hey. I don't vape, guys.
All right, we're just
create.
teasing. All right, keep going.
There's no-
Monday.
I don't vape, I vape. You know what vape is, do you?
No idea.
You know what vape is?
My biggest vice
Oh
is,
my god, you know what vape is? Comment below.
my biggest vice is sparkling water, folks.
Vape is a clothing brand.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
hilarious.
vape. Bathing vape. All right, so
Okay.
so my Monday theory. So actually started before that day.
I figured. That was just like my
that's when
first
I
introduction.
first brought it up. So, if we look at the world, we look at life, there's a lot of time. A year seems like a long time,
Mm-hmm.
right?
It can be overwhelming when you think about it.
365 days, right? But we all know is a short time. Like, think about last year.
Right.
We're just joking around how fast it went, but how long it felt,
The longest, shortest year.
right? And I think Tony Robbins has a quote that says something like, people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 10. Right? That's like the flaw of human beings,
Right.
most people. But anyway, like as I started like figuring out how to manage my time and how to think about what I wanted to get done, I couldn't figure out how I can take my big 30,000 feet view visions and make them happen. And so literally one day I just woke up and I'm like, oh, there's only 52 Mondays. So if I take 12 Mondays to get this done, right, that's 12 weeks. Or three Mondays is 3 weeks. But it kind of helps shorten the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can kind of actually fit way more in less time because you just look at the Mondays, not Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And so in business or in life, I feel like, and we just made that joke, a lot of people have trouble being consistent or sticking with stuff because they're thinking, oh, it's going to take me 5 months to lose the weight. Right? Instead of flipping it on its head and be like, well, how many Mondays is that?
Do you know what 5 times 4 is, Vince?
24. 16?
You got it right the first time.
32?
But yeah, it's a way of... So at the end of the day, what we're doing is we are changing our thoughts about something so that it seems more obtainable and believable. And most people would rather handle something in 8 Mondays versus,
It will change
8
your life.
weeks, 72 days. Like that's like a lot longer versus like, 6 Mondays. I could do this for 6 Mondays.
It'll change your life when you start thinking in Mondays.
Mhm.
Just try it.
So,
Right? I've been doing a countdown. I kind of stopped because like people were like, stop pressuring me when I was doing like only 51 Mondays left.
right.
Like, because it really puts your goals into perspective.
Right.
Like,
100%.
You have all year, But you really have what were we now? Like we have 50
So
or 48
there's
Mondays.
46 Mondays left.
46 Mondays left in the year.
So
What are you gonna fucking do in those 46 Mondays? All right, that's it.
I like that. All right, so we're 6 weeks into the year, and I know that typically 6 weeks is what it takes to form a habit, and this is typically that general time of year, mid-February. They say Valentine's Day comes around. People have basically forgotten about their goals.
Haven't really started the goals.
Given
Still
up on
thinking
the
about what they're
gym.
gonna do.
Back to cocktails and carbs.
I'm
So,
serious this time.
right. So I think my
We all do
question
it, by
for
the way.
you, Vince, is what is something that you've done this year that you're going to keep doing that you didn't do last year?
That's a lot. There's a lot of things.
Let's just name a couple.
Like in just business
And
context.
no, it could be with your health, it could be with your relationships, it could be with your work, your family, remember it's all
Related to Mondays, just in general.
in general.
Big question. Okay, so a couple of things I've been thinking about changing is speed. I feel like I wait on myself. I wait on a lot of other people. I feel like a lot of times I'm waiting,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm no longer going to be waiting for anybody anymore.
What is something that you have waited for somebody else for that now you're going to just do? Like, I'm trying to think of something where I'd be
Well-
waiting for somebody else to do it.
Let me make it like broad. Let me get like people
Yeah.
might relate to stuff. So let's say you have this business idea that you and your best friend want to start, or you and your dad wants to start,
Yeah.
whatever. And you're waiting on the other person to figure it out so
Yeah.
you can move.
Right.
So you're waiting on them to be ready for a logo. You're waiting for them to make time for a meeting. You're waiting on them to make the website. You're waiting on them to get the photographer. And before you know it, it's January, it's February, it's March,
Yeah.
it's April, it's June, it's July. And then next thing you know, you're like, oh, we haven't got this off the ground yet.
Right.
And so I wouldn't say that that's always my case, but there's a lot of case I'm waiting for other people to move at my pace.
Yeah.
Right? Because I want them to come with me. Right. I
Right.
think we all have that kind of
Right.
mentality. But the truth of the matter is, like, you have to get kind of selfish before you can be selfless. And you kind of have to, like, I'll listen to a song. I'm forgetting his name is like this. I'll put it in the show notes or something. But he has a line that says, hustlers don't wait for nobody.
Right. Right. It's true.
So
Yeah. And I think that and we talk a lot about pace and running, and we can link to some of those episodes in here too for more about that. But I do think that it's tough because equally you're also learning that you can't do everything yourself.
Mhm.
So typically speaking, when you have pretty big goals, you do need a team and you need help,
Mhm.
especially if what I'm a big fan of is if you want to spend your day in your flow state and not necessarily doing the work that you don't necessarily love to do and doesn't require your specific expertise,
Yep.
you need other people. And what I find is really helpful is to surround yourself with people that run at your pace,
Yes.
which obviously you, as opposed to saying, oh, it's okay, I'm just going to do it myself. That like martyr mentality, in reality, let's all do it together, but you just have to find the right people.
Yeah, you gotta stretch, you gotta grow, you gotta expand your circle, and you gotta find people who speak your language.
All right. So I have another question for you about Mondays.
Okay.
We're 6 Mondays in.
Yeah.
What is something that you've maybe stopped doing already this year that you really wanted to do, or something that you are struggling to push past? And then maybe we can talk about some of those thoughts that might be stopping people. Or whether or not it's these last 6 weeks or another time. It could have been last July you tried something for 6 weeks. Maybe you took something up. And I'm curious, what are some of the thoughts that stopped you from pushing past that 6-week mark?
Well, I never really like, not really. I don't know. I guess I'm not really struggling with anything in the sense of like my goals or getting what I want to get done.
Yeah.
But what I have seen in other people is currently right now, people who like I know who have goals and
Yeah.
told me their goals. Or
Okay.
I think the biggest thing that they're doing is pushing it off until the next Monday. Right? Like, I think a lot of people don't realize the work. Yeah, it can be hard,
Yeah.
But we're not talking about always hours of work every single day. Sometimes the thing that moves the needle is 15 minutes of work.
Do you think people sometimes overestimate the work it's going to take to do something, or don't correctly prioritize their day in terms of what will move the needle the most?
Yeah, I think a lot of people just don't know.
Yeah.
And I think like because they're looking at all these things that get done, they're thinking about their whole week. They're thinking about time. They're thinking about okay, like all right, I have meetings, whatever, and I can relate to that. Like I guess one of the things I struggled in the past is, you feel like you have 5 weeks of meetings,
Yeah.
and then like you feel like nothing got done.
Right.
At least for me, at least. And so I think a lot of people fall in that trap of like they're doing a lot, but they don't know exactly what moves the needle.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they need to I think what you have to do actually is slow down more. Think about what you want to actually accomplish. And I think 1 to 2 things for your year is the thing. I think where a lot of people mess up when they set goals or they think about attacking them is 50 things they try to do in a year.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, how about you pick, I think there's like a stat out like the human brain can manage like 4 things at once.
Right.
Like, so pick your 4 max. If you're like an over and over, if you're Liz, pick 4 things you want to accomplish. If you're like Vince, pick like 2, like you have to know yourself. You have to know what you're able to actually accomplish.
Yeah.
And I think what happens is, to reiterate, is that like
Mm-hmm.
you try to do your whole year in 6 weeks and you get defeated. You make no headway on any last one.
Right.
Like you're in fashion right now and you need to get your spring summer season out.
Yeah.
Like it should be done already.
I agree with that. 100%.
Right? If you're working on a spring menu for your restaurant, same case.
Right.
Like waste no time.
Right.
Time is a tool. Use it to your advantage.
Let's talk about in your business. I know we were talking today about the Super Bowl's coming up. We've talked about Lent, seafood. People want more seafood that time of year. What are things that you are planning now so that you're set up for success in the future? And is there something that maybe in the past you didn't do that? And what does that look like on the other hand?
Well, I've been debating about having a calendar in my own business that people can see, this our customers can see,
Yeah.
things we want to get done. We talked about Super Bowl Sunday. I think I can definitely pull out wings for that or something like that. We talked about Lent.
You're welcome, folks. That was mine.
And the wings are fire.
Low key, just wanted to buy some wings from you.
They're low key fire. I actually probably gonna do it.
I'm glad.
So
I'm hosting this year, so
are you?
yeah.
I think the biggest thing about my business is kind of right now just thinking about where the world's going.
Yeah.
You
The
know,
economy.
the economy and like how like my food is not cheap. It's organic, healthy food, and we make it fresh every day. You want a regular meal, you're paying $15. And so I'm now kind of gauging like, well, can we do smaller portions and do like a $12 box? It seems more attractive. But if I make that bet, will my main customers just start
Right.
jumping the $12 boxes instead? So it's like all hedging, it's all bets
Yeah.
that we're trying to make in the business and trying to like keep growing and really like maintaining. Like for example, I think our return rate is like 80%.
Oh, yeah.
Or 90%. So if you get to eat at Irie, you're gonna come back.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, and I think I was talking to Kirk earlier. I think our location sometimes hinders the frequency of that comeback. And
Yeah.
so now it's like figuring out how we can storytell through social media. How can we storytell on, online? What things, are the dogs barking and I'm not listening to the dogs barking? Like what are things are obviously that we're not doing? That's kind of where my focus is around the business currently, every single day.
That makes sense. So we're 6 Mondays into the 2021.
Yeah.
And obviously, the reason, again, the significance of it is that most habits are formed in 6 weeks. So you do have to stick with something for 6 weeks, and then it gets tremendously easier.
Yeah.
Even just like my team, we recently had a 60-day review with my operations manager, and it's literally night and day from just the first 30 days, from the first 2 weeks. And that's just one of those things that, like anything,
2 Mondays, 6 Mondays.
that's the thing. Exactly. So she's 8 Mondays in, and it's completely different. And I think when we start something new, people will get 1, 2, 3 Mondays in and want to peace out. So why don't you talk about why it's so important to keep pushing?
Yeah. So if you're 3 weeks in, or you're 6 weeks in right now, let's say you're on your workout journey, and you're like, you've had some slip ups, you've eaten bad, zoom out and realize it's only been 6 Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like don't think about it's just 6 week. I got 10 more weeks. Listen, when you make a decision to change your life, it's forever. It's not I need to get to this goal weight or I need this dollar amount in my bank account. It's a mental like flip period in the story.
Right.
And so how to help with time if you're an anxious kind of person or you're somebody who is big picture or someone who maybe is too into details, like the Monday strategy of like 6 Mondays, 8 Mondays, 13 Mondays, 32 Mondays really like gives you that kind of like manageable like dinner,
Right.
that plate.
Right. And to your point, you're not beating yourself up for going off or for slipping up. And I think that's where so many people are all or nothing.
Yeah.
And all or nothing is a really difficult mentality to work with to have success in anything because life isn't all or nothing. There's always things that come up. There's always there's pandemics that pop up once in 100 years. So the all or nothing mentality makes anything hard to maintain long term.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, with weight loss, I know that there's going to be times when I quote unquote go off course. I call it the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time I'm following the plan perfectly. 20% of the time I'm having a cocktail on vacation and didn't work out. And that way,
And that's okay.
when you're on vacation, you didn't mess up. That's part of the plan that you meant. That's part of the plan. You planned for that. There's no messing up. And to Vince's point, you don't lose the weight and then you reach your goal weight and then it's over. It's all part of a long-term lifestyle change. So to your point,
And if you go
there's no
into
end to it.
if you go into it with like the negative mindset of like losing something. So another thing I like to tell people, my team, is like you got to drop a bag to get a bag. So it's like
Talk about that.
you know, drop a bag to get a bag.
Give
right?
an example.
I'm about to get into it. You
That's
cut
my
me off,
favorite
right?
thing.
You know, like to reiterate, you got to drop a bag to get a bag. A lot of people focus on losing that bag so much they're not even thinking about the other bag. Like in a health context, being healthy, you're not missing out on anything, right? You're actually opening up your lifestyle to something that you haven't experienced yet, right? Fitter, you can run longer, right? And now when you do, do a bad thing, which I don't think like that, but when you do mess up, you eat a burger or a pizza, you don't care.
Right.
Because like your whole life is committed to being now healthy, right? You just upgraded.
Yeah.
Right. So like, and continue to upgrade, continue to drop the bag to get a new bag. That's in business. That's in life. Like so many people hold on to, like a lot of my friends
expired bags.
Yeah, expired bags. Like a lot of my friends are creatives, right? And so they're project based, which I think is like an interesting model to make money. But that's another podcast for another day. But when you're project based and you have your clients, a lot of people treat a $1,500 client like a $10,000 client. Now that's good when you're giving value, right? That's how you retain business. But you can never grow if you're only doing $1,500 worth of clients, right? So you have to like drop that client. You have to fire that, and really, it's not really that person. It's really yourself. You gotta drop that bag, that worrying of $1,500 to then go get $5,000, and then you gotta drop that $5,000 bag to then go get the $10,000 bag.
You know what it is, Vince?
Right? It's not about the money. It's about pushing, right, yourself and opening your mind up to possibilities. It's not really. I know I say drop a bag to get a bag because it's my slang, but it's not just about the money. It's about what do you want to happen? You want to grow your business, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to sit here and make $30,000 every year, right? So
my opinion on that is that's a scarcity mindset, and scared money doesn't make money. So if you're holding
scared
on,
money don't make money.
If you're holding on so tightly, if you have such a tight grip on money, that client, that team member that's just not running at your pace, that partner that's not running at your pace, that whatever it might be, the tighter you hold on, like scared money doesn't make money. And oftentimes your friend or whoever might be holding on to that $1,500 client because they're afraid. They're afraid they won't be able to replace that revenue. They're afraid they won't be able to provide the value to justify a $10,000 client. Scared money doesn't make money.
Scared anything doesn't work.
Facts.
Embrace fear. Everyone's scared.
Abundance mindset. And we'll link to that. I mean, abundance.
The world's more abundant than you know, and especially if you live in America. Beyond contrary belief, it's the best place to live in the world. Trust me. Just Google Uganda right now. and see the fucking difference.
Hey,
Sorry for the F word. But
So
like,
true.
you know, I see so many people like, it sucks. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, people that have never left West Michigan.
Yeah, basically. It's just like, and you know, and the internet is crazy. So
Young you with the loop on the highway with the deuce in the
Hey, this is Kirk, the producer of the Passionate Prophet podcast. Hang with us. We'll be right back after this short break.
no point I can't have the strength.
You still listening? Be sure to subscribe. I would hate for you to miss an episode of the Passion to Profit podcast.
Hype on the ceiling and not coming down. Fighting the feeling that life is a dream, but then living is death when it comes back around. So we just live for the sound.
Let's talk more about 6 Mondays. So first of all, what advice to someone, let's say they're not even listening to this now in the middle of February. Let's say they are
you're
just
you're
6
32
weeks-
Mondays in.
Exactly. Now what? So
Have they what? Are they struggling? Are they
All right.
not on their shit? Are they on their shit?
let's say that
Halfway, 50-50?
let's say we're now striving towards a goal, whether it's personal or professional,
Mhm.
and we are, halfway through the year. What do you tell someone that needs to what's the best strategy to approach that second half of the year towards making your goal?
So let's say you kind of, yeah, so you haven't been doing anything really.
Right.
So you're 26 Mondays in, poor performance, right? So, you know, like progress reports you used to do as a kid.
Yeah.
You know,
Doesn't was like S that says factory, not great. I always wanted the E for excellent.
oh yeah, like whatever. Yeah. My progress report. Let me tell you guys a quick story about progress reports. So this is completely off topic, but let me show you like how crafty I was as a kid.
Let's hear it.
So, you know, I didn't do too hot in school all the time, and my parents were disciplinary. So like they brought the belt out. A lot of you guys don't know what that is. A lot of you guys don't discipline your kids that way. So whatever. But I come from like the old school. We had belts, not really hung up, but like you just knew like somewhere in the closet there's that belt for you. And my parents did not like, especially me, not getting good grades. And I think a lot of it was because, they bought it on the whole school model of like school is your way out. But really like, I could talk my ass off and I was obviously like not dumb. So for my mom, I think she struggled with how is this kid, quote unquote, so smart, but then like not reflecting that in school, right? Like there's a disconnect. Probably I had some ADHD or whatever. So school didn't really connect to me. Maybe I didn't care about that much. Who really knows? Anyway, in my era, you had to get progress reports signed by your family and then bring it back to the teacher. So me and my dad had the same name. So, I used to watch. I remember like for a couple weeks I was like watching my dad sign checks and just sign things. Like I knew his signature. I was practicing it down. And so what I started doing, and this probably went on for a year. Every class that I had, I just signed my dad's progress report. I signed his name on it and like hit him, right? And I have D's and I'm failing. You know what I'm saying? So they'd be like, your parents signed this? Are they okay with it? I'm like, yep, I'm fine with it. Now, mind you, I have a twin sister, so this didn't work out for too long. But for like half the year or whatever, now it's parent-teacher conferences, right? And for some reason, I'm stuck at school. My goal is to like be at home, but then I'm like, no, stay here. We're gonna do your parent-teacher conferences, and we're gonna take you back home. I'm like, fuck, god damn it. So, I just remember like sitting outside of the door and just like I just knew in like 30 seconds like this is gonna break down. So, mind you, for the whole year, I've been signing progress reports in my dad's name. So my parents don't know what I'm doing in school. They don't know my grades or anything. So the teacher comes down like, hey, Vincent's like struggling, and you guys keep signing off on this stuff. Cause my parents didn't do email, any of that. They're old school Jamaicans, so I could, right? I hear my mom scream my name from in that room. Yeah, and following,
Oh, I just need to know. I know Vince, the charming face that he makes to get out of any situation.
I can get out of that one.
That's what I'm wondering. Were you couldn't get out of that
I know, I admitted it straight up. I walked in there and like that's what I did.
with that face?
I think I was crying. I knew it was about to happen.
Yeah.
So my dad was like shocked. He's like, "What?" But then like they all were like, after I got disciplined, whatever. My dad kind of like came to me and was like laughing. He was like, "You are gonna be something." He's like, "You didn't hide it. You didn't throw it away. Like you didn't. All you did was you signed my name and you you thought about it. I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I learned my signature, but he educated me on like how that's illegal. You go to jail for that and all that kind of shit. After the ass whooping.
That's so funny.
So,
Oh man,
that's the kind of kid I was. Always come with creative solutions.
Who's surprised?
I just didn't
Anyone
like
surprised?
authority disciplining me from a subjective point of
So
view.
you think you being rated for your poor performance is authority judging you?
I feel like the teacher did a horrible job teaching me. That's not my fault.
Mm.
So why am I punished for your failure as a teacher? I'm not.
Even though you understand she's part of a big system that she didn't decide.
Yeah, but her job as a teacher is not to blame the system. You signed up for that, not me.
Yeah, but imagine trying to teach each kid individually how they need to
That's
be
your
taught.
job.
No,
Yeah, your
it's like
job's
math. Like,
this is good. We disagree on this. We should go deeper. I think that is your job. If you sign up to be a teacher, you don't teach 10 kids and that's it. You should be fired.
well, I think it's hard for teachers to teach individually for each child, especially a kid like you that clearly school's not meant for.
What learning is.
Yeah, but not in a classroom environment with tests and books. And
So why are the kids punished for that? Why do the kids get held back?
well, the reason your punishment was so big was because you lied.
Well, I'm not talking about the progress report. I'm talking about
If you had just maybe owned up right away and said,
well, that's different. No, I'm talking about the education part of it. Right?
"Yeah, I know,"
They graded me. They saw that I was, and they then put it on my parents. Like my parents knew the material better than the teacher. You know what I'm saying? It's a
Yeah.
flawed system. Checkmate. Teachers comment below. Hey, like if you're a teacher, you do an amazing job. I know how hard it is managing 50 kids, 60 kids, but still, that's your job. Like your job is to teach and enrich those kids. And like I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of teachers will come and actually speak negative into especially kids of color.
well, that's
So,
a
like,
whole different.
So like
Yeah.
if you're not going to teach and you're not going to take your time out, your job is to do a good job, then you should probably find another job to do. I'm not saying you can't have weak moments. I'm not.
And I also, my kids go to like the best school in the state. So like the teachers I'm around, I realize are very unique.
Yeah, like you're failing and I just hate the school system. So I'm really like,
And you probably did at that age.
I just knew it was flawed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like kids now think they're stupid and they have such a low self-esteem because they didn't get good grades. And so
Yeah.
the system tells you, oh, you can only be a garbage truck guy or you can only be a factory
Yeah.
worker because you didn't get an A in math.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it?
You know what I'm saying? So like, I just feel like the whole system is flawed and they'll fix it one day. But if you're a teacher out there, please invest in your kids, especially the kids who are like a creative thinker like me.
Yeah.
If class was 15 minutes, I'll be a 4.0 student.
It's tough now because teachers are also like, wearing masks, monitoring little kids not touching and being 6 feet apart. The amount that's asked of them right now is so astronomical beyond what they signed up for that I just
they
have
need
so
to pay
much.
teachers more too.
Well, that's a fact.
That's another story. But that's like,
Probably one we can't solve here today.
yeah, we're not in this.
Let's get back to
school.
6 Mondays because one thing I want to talk about.
Okay,
I know.
so all right. We said 26 Mondays. You're not accomplishing your goals, right? And you're like you still got 26 more Mondays. Like
Right.
time is on your side when you flip the mindset, right?
Like last year for Ari Lemon, we made our entire year's goal in 4 months.
Yeah, exactly. We make bigger goals.
How many Mondays is that in 4 months, Vince?
I don't know. Tell me.
12. No, wait.
No.
That's
Not
3
12.
months.
Yeah.
I was thinking Q4. It's 3 months. It was really 3 months.
I know. Nuts. So
You're right. It's 16. So in 16 Mondays, that's pretty amazing.
pretty amazing.
And just a reminder that just because you haven't,
Can I?
yeah, there's 50. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Cut me
Sorry.
off?
No, sorry.
Sure can. Sorry about that, Kara. So there's 52 Mondays in a year. 52. We made our entire annual goal in 16 of those.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine. So to your point, people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So I did in 1 quarter what I thought we could do in a whole year,
Mhm.
which is a perfect example of it's all about how we think about time, our relationship with time.
Yep.
if you change your relationship with time, you're basically, we're just asking you to get out of your own way and reach your goals and stop using the calendar as an excuse. Stop blaming your meetings, your busy agenda, your to-do list. Those are all just basically excuses for you not getting in motion.
And please don't have a to-do list and not get anything done.
You know how many people make to-do lists, but they don't actually to do anything?
Yeah.
It's just like they'll literally write things they've done. Look, and it's like a funny thing, like, oh, it felt so good to cross it off. That's fine. And that person probably is getting a lot done. My point here is to get out of your own way, not be overwhelmed by, oh my God, it's a whole year. Also, equally not saying, well, I have the whole year, I'll just do it later. Like, get started now. Imagine how much more you could accomplish if you don't wait till Q4.
So, a quarter is 4 months, right? 3 months.
I think a quarter.
3.
Yeah, it's
So
3.
So in a quarter, what? There's 12 Mondays in a quarter.
Correct.
12 or 13, depending on the quarter.
So 12, 13 Mondays in a
Yeah,
quarter.
I totally had that completely wrong.
No.
That's me secretly wishing I had
No,
4 months to make
You
my
said
goal.
the right number, but then you said 4,
Right.
and then you were like, but I got what you meant. So go back to the Monday strategy and how I think about time is look at your quarter, which is 3 months.
Yeah. 12 weeks.
Right?
Yeah.
12 weeks. Right? I don't know how many days that is. 90
Well,
days.
it's roughly 90.
90 days.
Yeah.
Or 12 Mondays.
Right. 12 Mondays.
Which one do you prefer viewing your time as? Me personally, I love the 12 Monday thing because
Right.
so I have 12 Mondays to get this. And okay, let me actually give people the details.
Ooh, here
So-
we go. Finally.
I know you're trying
The
to
tea,
you're
let's
getting
get
to this
there.
point. You know, I'm always like, be quick, and I'm taking forever. So how to think about your main objective. So let's say in business, your main objective is to make X amount of dollars. So as you time map your life, there's a lot of business development going on, ideas of how to get to that X amount of dollars in a quarter, right? And so your bet is like, well, let me do all these ideas, and potentially by the end of the quarter, hopefully I make the money.
Yeah.
Right. And so what happens is, I think, is when you start going too much into the details, into the day-to-day, you completely forget about that top overhand goal. Because now
Yeah.
it's about, oh, this pop-up is going to make the money. Oh, no, it's this shirt that's going to do it. Oh, no, which I think is great because you're ideating, you're
We're
trying.
still doing a pop-up though, Vince. Don't
Yeah.
try to talk me out of that.
No, I'm not. But it's like, you know, you're so focused on these things, and then at the end of the quarter, you're like, well, why did we hit the goal? Well, like to your point,
Macro, not micro.
right? And even this is coming out 6 Mondays. Like this podcast, you're listening to it even later. This came out 6 Mondays from the beginning of the year.
Right.
Liz engineered that on purpose because she worked backwards. Again, look at your top end goal. I want to make 10K,
Yeah.
right? Now break that goal down into 12 Mondays, how much you have to make in a week on average. And that does not mean that you should feel defeated in your first week if you don't make the $2,000. Or
And
whatever it is.
similarly, like with weight loss, if you're trying to lose 2 pounds a week,
Exactly.
even if there's 1 week you lost a pound, that's still a lot.
You're still in the process,
Yeah.
right? Because it's the process of getting to the goal, not actually the goal. I think a lot of people just focus on, oh, it's the weight loss. It's like, no. You're changing your life. Oh, it's the
Yeah.
money. Like, no. You're changing your life. It's a perspective flip. And if you do the Monday strategy, listen, guys, like we just told the story of me like failing and like finessing.
Hey, look
like
at him now.
Like look at me now. Like,
Even on Dior shirt.
like I got a podcast. You know.
You know what else I think is so key? And we're going to talk even more about this probably next week when we're going to dive deeper into weight loss because that episode was really popular with you guys. So we're going to even get more into the nitty gritty. But momentum. And what Vince is talking about are basically he's tricked himself into getting into motion.
Yeah.
And, they always say a body in motion stays in motion. So often people that fail to reach their dreams, reach their goals, get that relationship they want to achieve, reach that financial freedom, they're having trouble getting into motion. And what I love about January, for example, is that the whole world suddenly gets in motion with healthy living, which I love because that's my everyday, that's my whole passion in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so fun because it's almost like the whole world's in motion in terms of that. So just like there's other times of year, like September, they say is like the New Year's Day for moms. And so a lot of moms, their kids go back to school. They're doing all the different things that they wanted to do.
Can I
Want
ask
me
a
to shut
question?
up? Yes.
Can I ask a question? want you to get deep here. Why do people struggle with getting into motion? Honestly,
Okay.
I want to see if the answer I'm thinking you're going to say in my head is what you're going to say.
Okay. I would have to imagine it honestly is just, it's really easy and point blank. People doubt themselves. They don't believe in themselves. They're insecure and they're worried too much about what other people will think.
It's your internal thinking. It's your heart. It's all the emotion stuff that's stopping you in your business. End of story.
Yeah. 100%.
Everything else is Googleable. It's not your sales team.
No.
It's you.
Yeah. You guys stop blaming everyone else. I know we always talk about like our circle. Like you can't blame your circle if you're not in motion.
Yeah.
Those are all good things to think about. But the only person who's going to make your health a priority is you. No, I'm not going to be able to work out for you today, Vince. I can't meal plan for you for the week. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, we can bring the weights. We can set up the weights for you, but I can't lift it for you.
So, but what I was just saying about momentum is that why we keep talking about the 6 weeks and what's so glorious about 6 weeks is once you do something for 6 weeks, it's going to be a lot easier. And then the easier something is, the more likely you are to stay in motion, to keep that momentum going. Because once you stop, it's going to be so much harder to start back up again. It's just like, for example, working out. Even if you just work out 10 minutes on a day off, that's going to help keep you in motion. Versus it's a lot harder. And I know the pandemic was so tricky with people losing gym access and things like that. One thing I really did was I stayed in motion, even though you guys, my home workouts are nothing. I'm not squatting 200 pounds at home or 165 pounds. I don't have a squat bench like that, but I'm in motion every day and I've lost weight during the pandemic. And that's why you just need to stay in motion, stick with it. It gets easier.
And if you think about Mondays.
Yeah.
Right? I said I got to do this for 6 weeks.
6 Mondays. That's
6 Mondays.
6.
Every new Monday, you can get that refreshing, 5 more
Who
Mondays.
doesn't have 6 Mondays?
4 more Mondays, 3 more Mondays, 2 more Mondays. And then by the last Monday, you're going to be like, oh, I like this.
Exactly.
This is who I am now. But yeah.
So guys, what are you going to do the next 6 Mondays? What are you going to do the next 6 Mondays?
Crush it.
Crush it. We want you also, when you're listening, we want you to tag us 6 Mondays. Let us know what you're doing, what you're sticking with, what you are, whether you're just starting or you're on your 12th Monday. We want to see what you guys are doing. And again, this could be business, health, wellness, whatever, personal.
Yeah. And hopefully we've done a good job of explaining it to you guys on the other end. But it's not that complicated. Just look at your life as in Mondays, create your goals around those Mondays, group those Mondays, and get it done.
Wait, should we also talk about the other end of if something didn't go great for like a month, it was just 4 Mondays.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it.
Don't
dwell.
Equally, like if something was like crushed for a couple weeks, maybe don't change your whole life for it yet. That was only 3 Mondays. So a lot of it too is just having a bit of a grip on time and sticking. We're basically coming up with mind hacks to get you to stick with things long term so that you actually can see your passion turn into that profit. See your hard work at the gym turn into weight loss. Feel healthier. We just want you to get past that discomfort, which is again the 6 week mark, and really reap the rewards, the benefits.
And this is the time to do it, man. 2020, 2021, the world is stopped.
Yeah.
Anything anytime you want to pivot and do, go after it. Please, just try it. And if you wasted a year, there's only 52 Mondays. You can go back to your job next year.
Exactly. Just start tomorrow.
Yep.
No. Right now. No, really. Start.
Get it done.
Right now.
Yeah. I ain't anything else to say.
Me neither.
Monday to Monday.
Monday to Monday. Bye.
Hey, you gon' learn this jazz too. Hey, yes, you going to learn this jazz. Ooh, I even got your girl some jazz yesterday. True. No, I'm just playing.
Wait, you made it this far in the podcast? Thank you for listening.